Making money is not as hard as you think. With the right knowledge and approach, you can leverage on opportunities all around you. But how can you find these opportunities? And how can you get good capital, network, and exposure? Grind Earn has got you covered. Grind Earn is a business centered at equipping you with the right knowledge, skill set, and opportunities to excel in the money market. Becoming a member of our community enables you to leverage on our existing businesses such as crypto and OTC trading, tourism, real estate, e-commerce, and so much more. To become a member, visit www.grindearn.com. Also get up to 20% referral bonus in our affiliate program. Grind Earn, preparing and positioning you to accumulate wealth.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody, and how was your day today? We'll be kicking off immediately so that we don't spend too much time, and that's the reason why we had to get the link out, like 5 minutes before time. We're going to be spending just thank you so much, Precious. We're going to be spending a little below 30 minutes. I know when I start, sometimes it may not be very easy for me to start slowing down because it starts getting fun. But the topic we are going to be talking about today is a topic that is very sensitive to and important as well for everybody and anybody who is looking to start a business or is currently running a business or is part of a business that is currently in existence. I can see some people who I know personally that are doing some massive things in their different and various industries. I can see the Jiggy Coin founder. I can see SNC Group. I can see Mr. Precious of in the real estate industry and architectural industry as well. So at the end of the day, anybody who wants to build a business would have to, even the Bible said that, if you want to build a house, you should sit down and calculate your cost. Because by the time you calculate your costs, then you can know what is going to cost you to achieve what you want to achieve. If you don't have that simple calculation to know where what you would need to proceed with the business is going to come from, then it's more like dead on arrival. You've seen businesses start and not make much progress. You've seen businesses start and stop at somewhere along the way because of capital. But it may interest you to know that, like I was on a conversation earlier, like before this call, like 30 minutes before this call with one of the prominent persons in the crypto space. And we are talking about capital, right? And based on my knowledge and the privilege I've had to advise and should I say consult for various startups in the industry, both the crypto industry and other industries, I've come to realize that the biggest problem people have is really not physical capital, physical cash. And for those who have been following the series on Money Monday, you will know that I've talked about money, the different types, what money actually is, the fact that money is not the thing that you think it to be. So today I'll be talking about capital, very, very, very important capital. And we'll talk about the various types of capital. And if you have your pen and your paper, your jotter, you can take notes. So what is capital? Capital is a broad term, right? Is a broad term that can be used to describe anything that confers value, anything that confers value or benefit to its owner. Anyone who have something that adds value to him or he has his capital. Just like money, when we talked about money, money is not the physical receipt. It is that thing that brought the receipt, that thing that brought the paper, that thing that brought the kudi is money, right? Whatever that gives you, access to receive money, receive cash, that's the money actually, right? So in capital is whatever that confers value or benefits to its owner. It could be a machinery, it could be intellectual property, it could be a patent, it could be it could be a business, it could be anything, it could be an individual, right? It could be friends, whatever it is. But I'm going to be categorizing this thing in a simpler way so that you understand the different types of capital, and which category and which level you fall into, right? To know how to access these things, to know how to take advantage of it to make your business work, right? Okay. So the things I would like you to take away from this session is the capital of a business is the asset it has available to pay, right, for the day-to-day operation of the business. Now, how do I break this down now for you? If and I've tested out, I've tried these things. The biggest asset, the biggest capital I have in my business is not just one, but all my businesses is human capital, which is one of the types of capital. So let's go down to different types of capital. The first one I would like you to take note of is financial capital, which is the one that you are mostly familiar with, the one that you are pursuing, you are chasing around for, the one that you are crying that you need. You need capital for your business. You need capital for your business. So it falls under what we call financial capital. So financial capital is also referred to as investment capital, right? It is the financial asset, the economic resource that a business or an organization needs to provide goods and services and generate future revenue. So you need physical capital, which is the financial capital. That one is the cash in the bank, cash at hand, whatever it is that you can use to pay for whatever service you need to accelerate your business falls under financial capital. So it could be your profits, it could be loans that you collect from people to be able to do your business. It could be bonds. In the financial market, there's a financial instrument called bonds. It could be a stock, corporate stock. It could be an IPO. When your business goes public, right? People would buy a little bit of your shares to be able to, of course, hold a bit of your company and make money in the future. So those cash or those money they give in exchange for your shares, is categorized under the IPO, and it could be partnerships as well. There are partners that could come into your company, and what they are bringing into the business is cash, is financial capital. So those capitals would help you to accelerate, build your business, do whatever you want to do in the business. So that falls under financial capital. The second type of capital is economic capital, right? It is the amount of money your business or your company needs to ensure stability. All right, given the number of assets and liabilities your company have. So that's your economic capital. For instance, an organization's economic capital protects it from potential risk. Let's look at businesses like Dangote refinery. Dangote have machineries. He has different things he has acquired over the years that is more like is an asset to him, because they are being used, and even if they are not being used currently, he can use it. Even if he is out of business today, some of those things can still be used for different purposes. It can be sold for him for cash. It can be rented out, right? So it's going to generate capital for him. And then even if maybe his daily business operations is not like moving as it should, right? Those machineries he have can help him to reinstate the business. Maybe the people, the human capital, the human beings that used to work with him are no longer there. He can employ a new set of people. As far as he have those machineries, it can keep business stable for him, right? So that is economic capital. We have other types of capital, like, human. Let's talk about constructed or manufactured capital. So constructed or manufactured capital refers to the human-made stock of material objects, systems, infrastructure, and processes that turn materials into products. Okay, so using the whole Dangote explanation as an instance, as far as those machineries he has can always be used to generate new funds for him, it's a capital. Remember the definition I gave initially: whatever that you have that adds value to you, it could be cash wise, it could be, those things are referred to as capitals, right? So if you have a building, it's under constructed or manufactured capital. What do you call it? In contrast to the machineries that Dangote acquired, okay, in contrast to the machineries he acquired over the years, which is an economic capital to him, right? Constructed and manufactured capitals are the ones that the money he had made over the years, he used it to build up something, a fixed asset, right? Or whatever it is that could yield more profits to him. Now that is under constructed or manufactured capital. So physical buildings like hotels, residential homes that was built, it was not there from the beginning, and the person did not buy it, right? People can live there. Even if the people that used to live in those properties are no longer there, new set of people can still come there. Even if it's no longer fit for residential purposes, it can be used as a factory, it can be used as offices, it can be turned into anything. So it's capital. So if this line of business for buildings is no longer working, you can easily use it for a different kind of thing, as far as it keeps yielding value to you. So buildings, transportation, if you have a car, the car can be used for taxi, it can be used for cab and hiring, for hiring purposes, hire purchase rather. It can be used for to do a lot of things. So it's under that, and as far as it can give you money, it's regarded as capital to you. Technology, if you have a technology, maybe a solution you have created that people can use and it will solve a problem for them, and they will pay you for it, is capital to you. Machineries, tools, whatever, right? Ecosystems. I know people don't know this. If you are able to build a community of people that you can always leverage on, is capital to you, right? So I call it social capital, but we are going to get down to social capital. That's the next. Social capital. Social capital is resources gained through interpersonal relationships and larger social networks. It is the positive outcome of human interactions. All right. So if you, and that's the reason why most people who are into themselves, people who feel, okay, I don't want to interact with people, I don't want to, go on social media, I'm just on my own, I'm into myself, they really make money, right? Because there's a kind of social capital that they lack. There's a kind of capital that they lack, which is very important, and it is social capital, right? So social capital is a kind of capital that you generate. You won't spend a lot of money to generate it, right? All you need is to have a good interpersonal relationship with people, have a good communication skill, and know something, at least have something in your head, because if you don't know anything, then you can't keep conversations going. To build a good social capital, there must be a common ground between you and the people you are building a social capital around. It could be your church people. If you don't know Bible passages, your conversation with them will be boring. You won't be making sense. Maybe they say something you don't understand. Tomorrow they don't want to discuss with you. So if you are building a social capital around your religious circle, then you need to know the Bible. You need to go into church. You need to understand what that circle knows and what they want to discuss about. Okay. You need to be able, apart from being able to sustain discussions and communication, you need to be attending church services. There are people that are very popular within the church circle. They have built a social capital around that. And before you know it, some of them can cash into it and open their own churches. So I just gave you a business idea. All right. So if you've built a large social capital around your church, around church things, you can easily open up. You can easily have, as far as, you're able to do that, something can come out, in that line, right? So if you are a business person and you're able to build a very good social capital or social network around yourself in the business circle, you can build. I've seen people that work as a staff in different companies, right? Because they have good interpersonal relationship, a good idea of the concept of the business, they are able to maintain communication. Something happened. They opened their own branch. I mean, someone that was a staff in a company, in a business, right? That's why you see somebody will work with somebody for 20 years, 50 years, and by the time the person leaves the business, he's on his own. Oh, I used to work with this company. If you don't understand social capital, you will not be able to elevate beyond a particular level, right? You're going to be under someone for a long period of time. If you understand social capital, you can build your own network. Living a company or a business must not be under, maybe you are, maybe between you guys have an issue between you and the company, right? It could be that at this point, the business is even expanding too much that the owner of the company will be glad for you to own your own and you can collaborate. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is know something, be able to build a capital, a social capital around whatever circle you find yourself, and you'll be able to turn it into a money yielding something, a business, right? So there's a lot of things. It could be whatever it is, right? And this is one of the fastest ways for you to accelerate, to grow. Why did I say that? These same people in your social capital, they are businesses that, you can pitch to them, right? And they'll be willing, because of the communication link you have with them, they'll be willing to fund those businesses. You may not have so much money, but some of them can link up and fund you. You understand? Another good thing about it, and I think I talked about it last week, is that for me personally, there's no office. I don't know of any in most part of the world, right? Maybe not in Pakistan. I know people in Pakistan very well. I know people, maybe not in Palestine. I know somebody in Afghanistan. So there's no country right now. I know people, about 4 persons, friends in Afghanistan, right? And, if I need to do anything in any country globally, right? It's just a maximum of 3 persons. 3 persons, and I get the job done. Like 3 persons, 3 calls. I'll just call the person I know. That person may not know what I'm talking about, but at least he is from the country. Now, because he's from the country, he knows somebody that will understand what I'm talking about, that will be able to now communicate somebody that is the person that is my last target, right? So because I have built a social capital, a communication line between that Afghanistan person, I have access to the country. I don't need to go to the country to do what I want to do. Same with every other thing, right? If I want to reach CBN tomorrow, just a call to somebody I know that knows somebody that knows somebody. Because of the social capital, the communication line I've been able to create between me and that one person, the person can now easily link me up to what I want to achieve. So social capital is very, very, very key. And you can leverage on it, in different sense, but I'm going to come back to it by the time we are done with the remaining four capitals, types of capital. We have just 10 minutes to go. So the next one is intellectual property. You see people going to school, they want to become doctors, they want to become engineers or lawyers or whatever you want to be. Intellectual property is the reason why people go to acquire some of this knowledge. Is intellectual property. That's intellectual capital. That's what they're acquiring, right? So you are acquiring this intellectual capital because you know that somebody will in the future exchange cash for it. So you are now a lawyer. Somebody will pay you in the future for you to, mediate a case for him, do some documents for him or her. You've acquired that capital, right? And it's one capital that, I used to tell this story. A guy wakes up in the morning, no cash in his pocket, hungry, but he walks out of his house, he walks to the next street, which is where his probably shop is. Remember, he didn't have to enter Okada or cab, right? Gets to where his shop is, opens his door, maybe dusts the room, picks up his clipper, sits down. Guess what happens? 5 minutes later, someone walks into his shop, sits down like this, and places his head like this. They don't need to communicate. Maybe he can say, okay, I need this style. I'm talking about a barber. Maybe I need this style, I need the other style. All the barber needs to do is apply his intellectual capital. And the clients do not need to talk too much long story or write an article before he dips his hand into his pocket and pays the barber. And before the day is gone, 5 more persons, 10 more persons walks into the shop, does the same thing. And this guy that came to shop in the morning with 0 money in his account balance would probably have like 15K or 20K going home with for that day. What had happened? In the morning, he was only broke, but he wasn't poor because he had capital, and that capital falls into what? Intellectual capital. And then if you combine intellectual capital with social capital, a man that knows how to barb can go from owning a shop around Mushin in Lagos to owning a luxury celebrity shop, barbering salon in Lagos, in Lekki, Lagos, and he can charge 5K or 10K for the same service. It's social capital that does that in combination with intellectual capital. Someone who used to just be an anyhow barber could now sit down at home and he will receive a call, come and barb Senator this, come and barb Fino. I know the celebrity barber that used to barb Fino used to pay him like how much, you understand, to barb him. It is social. If he did not build that social link between himself and Fino, he will still remain in that level. You see how all these things connect. I'm going to still go back and tell you how everything connects for you to build, be able to have a lasting wealth, around your capital. Okay. I saw a post, I think it was last week. One of the Migos, and those of you who listen to foreign music, what's his name? Is it Future? It's not Future. The husband of Cardi B. What's his name? Someone should type it on the chat box. Cardi B's husband belongs to a group called the Migos, Migos, right? So one of the guys in the Migo group, Offset, thank you. So one of the guys in the Migos group, he made a post in his Instagram that he pays his PA $5,000 weekly. Now that is $20,000 monthly. PA. He holds his bag, all those things. $5,000 weekly. He's already a millionaire in a week. I mean, he can throw all his money away and go to work the next week, and he's back to millionaire status in Naira, right? Why? Because of what? Social capital and probably intellectual capital. Why I'm saying this is that it's very important you pay attention to your intellectual capital. If you don't have, if we are not born with a silver spoon or a golden spoon, you hand one to yourself. You create one, you snatch one, you get one. How do you get one? Acquire intellectual capital. There are so many ways you can do that. You can go on YouTube, watch videos. You can always, like for myself, I have a lot of, I'm not too much of a fan of so many of these things, but I know a little of almost everything. How do I do it? I'm hungry for knowledge. I want to follow this person on Instagram, not because I want to, just follow them, because I want to pick one or two things. I want to understand what is going on in this circle, right? In the spiritual, in the religious circle, I have a lot of people I listen to. I watch their stuff. I listen to tapes, right? Some of these things help me to build up my intellectual capital. So I can sit down with anybody, that person can come up with a business idea. I can handle this for you. I may not even I may not even be able to do that thing, but because I know a little of that thing, I have an intellectual capital to be able to engage in a conversation within that field. Then I now apply my social capital that I've already built by calling the people I know in those fields. Hello, Precious, you are an architect. Can you help me to draw this architectural stuff? And I took the contract as though is my because I can communicate. I understand the industry, right? So I can engage in a conversation and get the contract. Then I get someone through my social capital that can handle it. The person gets his cut, I get my cut. I now make financial capital. Do you see how it connects? So I'm in a conversation, someone is talking about a litigation issue, and I tell the person, what's the problem? The person tells me, I say one or two things that make sense, and oh, okay, do it this way, do it that way. In fact, I can handle it for you. What? Okay, hold on. The next thing I call Pev Clara, right? Okay, I have this situation, and I need you to be able to handle it. The next thing I make the link up, right? They do their thing. The person makes the payment because I made the proposal. I did the whole thing. I get my cut. The barrister gets her cut. You understand? So you need to be able to connect your social capital, your intellectual capital, to be able to. I'm going to walk you back down through everything I talked about. Number 7 is your cultural capital. So what's your cultural capital? Your cultural capital is the collection of material goods, experiences, and social assets you attained through your life. So everything that you have attained through your life put together is your cultural capital, right? Is your cultural capital. So it's a combination of tangible and intangible assets that you have typically gained from the beginning of a particular, from being part of a particular socioeconomic status. So for instance, cultural goods like books, works of art. I mean, if through your life you've been picking, let me not use that instance. Let's take, for instance, right, the Igbo society, through the life span of the Igbo society, right? There have been things, maybe stool, maybe a crown that was used, maybe a war tool, right, that was used like 20 years ago. that was not discarded, it wasn't thrown away. As far as you have a collection of some of those things, it forms a capital for you because you can tell stories, it will start making sense. When you go to South Africa, I remember there's this place in South Africa. I enjoyed, I almost felt like crying, when we were walking around that place. And what happened? A lot of stories we are told, a lot of things that were kept after the apartheid that happened back in the days, right? So you see some of those things physical. Oh, this was the shirt that Nelson Mandela wore during when he was making the negotiation, with the white men. Oh, this was the chain that he was bound with, in the cell when he was jailed, right? Oh, this was the so all those things, you are seeing them physically. People are now paying to see those things. People are now paying to experience it through the stories that are being told, with the physical things that are being shown. Because if those things are not there, it only becomes stories. So those things form a capital, right? For the people who are able to have a collection of those things. So for yourself, you can, if you start having a collection of some things, I don't know, it can become a capital to you as well. Right? Then stories, people write stories, those things are fall under cultural capital, right? It can be sold as a book, it can be used, to develop a curriculum in schools. Some of the things we learn in school are stories, right? And people pay for it. It's capital, history, behavior and mannerisms. So this is when you say I am an Igbo, it is because there's a behavioral what do you call it, pattern that all the Igbos have. You say you are an Hausa person, it's because of this thing. You say you are Yoruba, there's a mannerism that people in that sect have, and that is what makes you what you are, and it becomes a capital because now you can say, okay, for this purpose, this is it. But let me not take too much time on that. Languages, speech, and style can be educated in schools and money can be made from it. It's a cultural capital, clothing, all those things are under cultural capital. Then we have experiential capital. Oh, so when we talk about experiential capital, I look at myself as the richest man on earth. I know there are people that have more experiences and bigger experiences, but I've had a lot of experiences within a very short time in my life that sometimes I feel like I'm a 50-year-old man in a 28-year-old body. And that's how I feel a lot of times. The first time I declared my age in the social sphere was this year during my birthday. Other years, when I say, I'm plus one, I'm plus one, I'm plus one, some people will be congratulating me. I'm 30 years old, I'm 32 years old. As at 3 years ago, people think because of the way I used to dress, the way I used to act and all those things, right? So the first time this year, I mentioned my age in the public domain and people were like, wow, he's just 28. But when I tell you stories of things I've been through, things I've done, things I've achieved, things I've not achieved, you'll be like, how did you do it? When did you do it? It's crazy. But it's a capital to me, right? Because by experience now, I can mentor people by experience. It doesn't have anything to do with age. As of 4 years ago, I had clergymen, come to my office for me to mentor them on things. Clergymen, people in high social status and all those things. I didn't even used to talk to the people I had in my circle as my friends. We are people of 50 years old, 60 years old, top people in the society. So all those things help to form my what do you call it, experiential capital. Now today I can leverage on it. Today I'm educating on this, on this thing because of some of the experiences I've had. Now some of those capitals may not, and I'm going to say this, remember that the definition of assets, right? Which capital is an asset, definitely, right? So an asset is something that has value, that has money to your pocket. Same with capital. Capital is something that has value to you. So do you understand? So most of these capitals or assets may not, okay, capital now, right, may not give you physical cash, but it can save you a lot of cash. So either way, it's still giving you money. For instance, when you have physical, there's one of the capitals I talked about, which involves machineries. Instead of you hiring people and paying them on a weekly basis to use their own machineries, you can make use of your own machinery and save the excess money that you would have spent. It has added value to you, right? So same with experiential capital. With the experiences you have, there are some mistakes people within your age range will be making, and it will be costing them a whole lot. You, because you have that experience, you will not make those mistakes. It will save you a lot. You are not, it's not bringing you physical cash, but it's saving you the one you have. You understand? So that's very important. With your experiential capital, you can work on projects. You can be part of a team to work on a project, because if you don't know what you know, you will not be able to work with other people. So if you know some certain things, you may not be the originator of the idea or the concepts. Someone may just say, I'm trying to work on something, and he knows that somebody somewhere have this experience. He will reach out to that person that have that experience, and he will pay for that experience, right? It may not even be the person that need that experience that will reach out to you. It may be someone that knows you that will say, oh, I know someone that have this experience. Let me add him to this team. I've been part of a lot of teams, not because of a lot of projects, not because, I started with them or I did anything with them, because I had some experience. Someone said, okay, I know somebody that his input will make sense in this thing. I was called. So start building experiential capital. How do you do that? You can learn new skills. You can, explore new ideas. You can read as well, right? Like what most of you are doing in grind. You might not have made money since we started, but you have made money. I'll say it again. You might not have made cash yet, but you have made a lot of intellectual capital. You have built a lot of social capital. Do you understand? These two together can give you whatever physical one, but there are people that downplay or they look down on some of these capitals, and at the end of the day, they lose out entirely. Okay, so try to be part of something bigger than you. You will learn a whole lot, right? Learn a new skill, start trying to build something. Building one of my companies, Bit4Value, gave me a lot of experience that helped me to build and sustain BitFXT, that is helping me right now in other ways. Boundless Pay, helping me to be part of a lot of bigger things, right? And I'll be able to stand before people all over the world, and I will say what I know, and I will say it because I have the experience, right? If you don't have the experience, you can't say anything about anything. Then traveling, this is where Grand Lottery comes in. If you learn to always travel, right? If you travel to different places, like I said before, it's not just about you traveling out of the country. It also involves you leaving your home to another street, to another state, to another sect, what do you call it? Zone, to wherever, another local government. If you try to travel to different places, you can gain experiential capital, right? And it will help you to be able to expand your knowledge, expand your capacity, and all that. So in Grand Luxury, let me talk a little bit about Grand Luxury. You'll be able to travel to different places within Nigeria and outside Nigeria at the lowest cost possible, and at a luxurious experience as well. We'll be having some local trips within Enugu State, Lagos, Abuja in the coming months or weeks. You can engage in group tourisms within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So if you can't afford to travel outside Nigeria yet, you can still afford to go from Lagos to Enugu to see what is happening there. So we'll be working with some local tour guides that will take you to some places you never knew existed within Enugu State, within Abuja, within even your village. There are some things that are there you don't know about them, you've not heard about them. So we're going to be working with people to organize some of these things, and for you to have that experience and learn. finally, we have the natural capital, which is the physical things that God blessed, different people with. So you were born with this particular thing that makes you different from other people. Don't shy away from it. Leverage on it. Become a superpower with it. It becomes your superpower. There's this guy. What's his name? I've forgotten his name, but he calls himself D-Flex. D-Flex have gone to America's Got Talents because he's a contortionist. Some of you might have seen him. And those of you that are here that knows me, right, from way back, Precious, Feka dance unit. You remember I used to, contour my body. I used to like pull my hand like this and it goes flips to the back. I used to do some assaults. I used to do stunts. I used to do some weird things. I used to split my leg. Today I can't do them again because I got so busy pursuing these other capitals that I left by some of my. But I still have a lot of natural capitals in my head, and and those natural capitals are still giving me access to everything I need. So if you still have access to your natural capital, try as much as you can. You can sing, is a natural capital. Sing and make money from it, right? You have a good voice, but you can't sing. Me, I know I have a very beautiful voice, so so you have a very beautiful voice. Try and develop it. It's going to give you a lot of capital. You are beautiful naturally. It's a natural capital, but don't use it the wrong way. You can, of course, we need beautiful people in Grind and in Boundless Pay very soon to be able to convert sales for us, because we realized that fine girls, when they're in marketing department, the business grows. So if you're a fine person, we need you, because you're going to make money. What I'm trying to say is that there are some, even ugly people is a natural capital. If you're as ugly as me, you can start doing some funny things and people will just look at your face and laugh and you will make money. I know Aproko, what's it, comedian. The guy don't need to talk. He doesn't need to talk. He just climbs the stage and he will just stand there for like 30 seconds. He will just be looking at everybody. Everybody will start laughing. Everybody will start laughing because the guy is ugly. Before he even open his mouth to start talking, Aproko doctor. Before he even opens up his mouth to start talking or cracking joke, people are already laughing because of the way he looks. Clint the drunk would climb the stage and be staggering. You understand? I don't know how he discovered that. That was, but people is being paid a lot of things. So if you have natural capital, you can write, you can think. What's his name? My friend, Belash Moda. He said that his talent is thinking. You can sit down and think and think and think. If your talent becomes thinking, please just think out something beautiful and something good. Put it to work like he does. It may sound funny, but it may be from some of those his thinkings. He now, start writing the whole, what do you call it? Was that his most popular song? I've forgotten the song, right? So the one he said, whatever. So EFCC, Japa, all those his songs, right? So at the end of the day, all those things, cash up, thank you. So it may be from his thinking, he was able to put that body of work together. Someone that probably, how to speak more English than him, how to compose yourself more than him. But these boys are doing well because they understood. Maybe nobody even taught them in any grind. They were not even, opportuned. Maybe naturally, somehow it just worked for them. Now what are you going to do with these things that you have learned? So bringing everything together, let me start from number 9 and I'll go back up. I'll be picking them. First of all, you are born with a natural capital. I want you to, you may not need to say it out for me. You may not need to unmute yourself. I want you to say it out wherever you are right now. Touch your chest and say, I am born with a natural capital. I am born with a natural capital. Everybody is born with natural capitals, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, get yourself into working with people using those natural capitals. It will give you experience, right? That's number 2. It will give you experience. Number 3, we are all born into a society, right? I'm working it all the way back up. We're all born into a society. So as an Igbo person, understand what the culture, what the system, what everything is, and how you can improve yourself using what you have learned about your culture, right? You can provide a solution that helps a lot of the Igbo nation. There are people that have put it upon themselves to build for the whites, for put all those things together and help yourself out. So build a capital around that as well. Put up stories. If you have a good voice, sing songs about the Igbo race. Sing song about. So if you are looking for lyrics, there are lots of things to sing about. The reason why Burna Boy won the Grammys. Some people are debating, Davido, why is Davido not in the Grammys? Why is this? Why is even Wizkid? What gave him his Grammy is collaboration. Collaboration he did with Beyonce. That's what gave him his Grammy. And why did Burna Boy won Grammy? Went the first time, went the second time, then won this third time. Why? Because he found a social, a capital around the Nigerian state, around the culture. You understand? He always thinks about the bad things that are happening. The world recognizes people that create a body of art, body of work from physical, not things that people can relate with. It's not, oh yeah, totore me one time, totore me two times. Those things don't win, or Shepe doesn't win, what do you call it? Grammys. What wins Grammys is what are you doing that is affecting people directly. So build something around the culture of where you are. Make your culture known to the world by drawing. I used to draw when I was growing up. I can still draw now if you give me pen and pencil and you pause every other thing. So that my business is, because if I start drawing now, I feel like I'm taking a lot of time, business I'm supposed to be doing and all that. So if you can pause all those things and give me pencil and pen, I will draw the hell out of whatever you tell me to draw. I still have that capital inborn, right? So if I can now put that into drawing something around my culture, around Nigeria, it can go very far. Then, from there now, from these things I've talked about, you can now use it and form an intellectual property that you can resell tomorrow, that you can use, to do whatever you want to do, form it into an intellectual property, then start meeting people. By the time you start meeting people, you are now building a social capital around it. Who are the people you are meeting? You are meeting people, your fellow artists. You see, the fastest way to build a social capital is to meet with people who are in the same circle and field as you, right? So that you can both have, yeah, so you can both have a flowing conversation, right? And so if you're an artist, you can draw. It's easier to build a social capital around with people who are artists. If you are an architect, it's easier for you to have a social capital around fellow architects. If you're a musician, it's easier for you to build a social capital around people who are fellow musicians. So build a social capital around what you know. Then those people now becomes your human capital. You need to meet with Don Jazzy tomorrow because you're a musician. Is one of the people in your music circle somehow have been in a place where Don Jazzy was. One of them may have the phone number of Don Jazzy's PA. Somehow, people within your circle is, if you have a good social capital, people around you, you are just 1 or 2 or maximum 3 calls away from your destination, from where you are headed. Then from there, you can now use those social capital and the money you have to start. If you have started making money from these things, you can now start constructing and manufacturing a different kind of capital, building houses from the money you have made, all those things. And as far as you have built those houses, built those businesses, it becomes an economic capital to you because it yields money, from the land to the government, it becomes an economic capital to you. And finally, that's when financial capital starts flowing in. People will start knocking on your door, calling you all over the place for you to, share your experience and you make money from it, or, to use your property or to do all those things. That's when the physical ones. But the problem is that people go, see how I structured it, and I started from the last one all the way to financial. The financial, just became the last thing you actually need to pursue, right? You don't even need to pursue it. If you follow it the way I explained it back to the top, you see that the cash comes, the financial capital comes naturally once you have been able to build all those things. But the thing is, people start from pursuing cash and financial capital and cash, and then they miss out on the rest because they are pursuing shadows. So you hardly make money trying to pursue. That's when you start saying, the government is not doing well. They are not doing what they are supposed to do. You start blaming everything. Start blaming the fact that your family does not have money. Start blaming the fact that your salary is too small. Start blaming because your attention and your mind is on financial capital, which is supposed to be the very last one. At this point, we have come to the end of this class. I was supposed to do just 30 minutes because I have a meeting I'm supposed to be part of. But I really appreciate everybody who joined. If you have a question, I'm going to check. Okay, there are lots of messages here. I'm going to read out some of them. And good afternoon, good afternoon. Does economic capital have any connection with valuation? Someone said, does economic capital have any connection with valuation? Is it what decides the valuation? So the valuation of economic capital is, the question is, what is the value of that into the economy, right? Whatever the value, everything have a value, a monetary value, everything. It's either it is saving people money, so you can value it by how much it is saving people, or it is bringing in money, you value it at how much it is bringing, these two things. So that's how you value everything. Social capital is what I'm so attractive to right now. Yes, everybody in grind domain. That's the reason why every month we bring out money as a company to make sure we host 1 or 2 gatherings. And some of you that have attended some of our physical meetups, it's not because we have too much money to throw around, or it's because we want you to build a capital around the people you've met. Or you just attend some of those things and you go back home and life continues. No, it's for you to be able to connect, understand what is going on, and build a business, build money out of it, build something good out of it, right? So who else? Pay attention to your intellectual, pay attention to your intellectual capital, very important. That's the reason you went to. Some people will go to school and come out with no capital at all. No, when you go to school, even though they are not teaching anything, teach yourself. I remember back in the days, when other people are in the class, I will go to ICT in UNN, Osaka. I'll go to ICT and I'll use the free internet, because the biggest, thank God, anytime I remember that when I was in school, anytime I remember that I was in UNN, I have one thing to thank God for. And that thing was ICT, the fact that I had unlimited internet access to browse. I wasn't thanking God for the lecturers or the school environment or anything. As far as my laptop was charged and I had access to the internet, I was the most grateful person in school. You understand? Because I valued it. If I valued it, other people were going for night class, I'm in ICT and browsing. What have I browsed? I can't even remember the main things I was browsing. I was just so fascinated and so connected to the internet that I would read up everything. I would go to this website. I was building, coding, all those things, right? So this is how I got introduced into web design and digital content, product design, converse with people who want it and deal in person, who can actually do it and take a cut. Yeah, correct. So thank you, guys. I am born with natural capital. Tell yourself that you are not disabled. You are not what's the word? You are not, I've forgotten the word now, but you are not disadvantaged. That's the word, right? You have natural capital. If you can talk, if you are not camera shy, you have something. Make use of it. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day ahead. see you on Thursday in Pick a Niche, and on Monday, Monday. And we have something going. Those of you that have not registered, go and register on www.pro.grindn.com, or you can go to grindn.com, click on join and register. Make sure you register on Grind. And if you want to get more from what we have to offer, then subscribe to one of the packages that we have. $200, $500, $1,000. You have access to 1 year of something amazing. You will not know until you are in. All right, guys.